Ladies and gentlemen, this is huge. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. We're going to be talking about this all throughout August. Starting August 1st, we'll have live streams, uploads. We'll have 3 to 4 segments every single day. I'm taking a couple of days off, doing some really amazing things. But hit subscribe to this channel because the you-know-what has hit the fan for Trump's adversaries. This is the Independent Central Intelligence Agency director suggests Hillary Clinton could face criminal prosecution as part of Obama Russiagate investigation. Now, anyone, whether you're pro-Trump or a lifelong liberal Democrat who thinks that the Kremlin interfered in 2016, anyone who says, well, nothing's ever going to happen, there's been a paradigm change. The pendulum has swung a completely different direction. Things have completely changed. They're not the same. You have a completely new intelligence agency, or you have completely new intelligence agencies and community. The intel community has been revamped. It is now firmly under the direction of President Trump, Tulsi Gabbard, John Ratcliffe, who perhaps is the most powerful individual in government at the moment. He says he's the Central Intelligence Director, Central Intelligence Agency Director. He says that Clinton is likely going to face criminal prosecution, or could face criminal prosecution. You'll hear him in a second. The reason is that we are now finding out through declassified information, declassified documents, and intel. Okay, when Democrats loved intel, they were so interested in intel for so long. Declassified intel. You have Brennan, Comey, and Hillary Clinton could face indictment. The Hill. From declassified intelligence, you have information stating that Clinton was a part of working with President Obama's administration to falsely set up and frame Trump. It was that insurance policy that you had former government officials talk about. It was a way to deceive half the country, half the electorate. Tens of millions of Americans believe complete nonsense. You have these self-described atheists and secular pundits and individuals who vote Democrat who are too smart to believe in a certain religion or deity or God, but they believe in complete and utter fabricated nonsense in the form of a Steele dossier, for example, that was literally purchased by Clinton and the DNC, and they paid an FEC fine for that. Now you have the Central Intelligence Agency, once headed by Brennan, headed now by John Ratcliffe, and Clapper has been replaced by Tulsi Gabbard. And you have President Obama replaced by Trump twice. Two-term president. It took President Trump going on 10 years to give the truth to the American people. And the whole thing with the EP files, really quickly, EP, we'll just use the name, the phrase or the words or the letters EP. EP was a Democratic donor. He gave 20 grand to Clinton. He gave thousands to Kerry and Schumer. And he had a picture of a former Democratic president in a blue dress, okay? Trump had a plane. All these Democrats and never Trump Republicans, but mainly Democrats, didn't have planes of their own. So you do the math on that one. The files should have been released, but they should have been released a decade ago, when New York Democrats and others, and even Vox, even CNN, have articles talking about how New York Democrats defended EP, and so lowered his status, what status, and all of that. And so that situation was poorly handled by President Trump's administration, but the files that they currently have, or any intel or documents or list of clients, has been completely either deleted, altered, not accurate. Let's get to the information that they couldn't delete. Information they couldn't delete is right here. They couldn't alter this type of information. It all points to Clinton. It all points to Brennan and Comey and others. Now, President Trump and Tulsi Gabbard and Pam Bondi have a plethora of options. A whole bunch of people are going to be turning on one another. I don't think they're going to indict President Obama, but they'll definitely start indicting people like, almost certainly, people like Clinton, Brennan, Comey, and others. Hit subscribe. Watch this.
Trump won his first term.
During that 4-year period of time, think about the countless interviews that Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Jim Clapper, James Comey, John Brennan gave to the public, and testimony that they gave under oath about how Russia was involved in our election. And not one time, not a single time, did they ever reference what became verified intelligence, a Hillary Clinton plan. Verified, Maria, because in 2020, Hillary Clinton's own campaign manager took the oath under penalty of perjury in the trial of Michael Sussman and was asked about this plan and said, yes, there was a plan, and Hillary Clinton personally approved it. So all they did was talk about the fake Steele dossier, but never talked about the true intelligence, the true origins of the Russia collusion hoax, was that this was a Hillary Clinton campaign scheme. Yeah.
Now, if you're watching this, you're saying, well, nothing's ever going to happen. Nothing's ever going to happen. Look, the Durham probe led to nothing. They didn't have Pam Bondi. They didn't have John Radcliffe at Central Intelligence. They didn't have Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. They didn't have Kash Patel at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You can say, well, the EP files, that was poorly managed. But this is very simple, slam dunk. It's not difficult to start indicting people who broke the law. The statute of limitations for this type of conspiracy only ends when the conspiracy itself ends. And they're still hiding information. So this is legal accountability, political accountability is going to take place. Okay, you're not talking about files or a list of clients that have been completely altered, deleted, corrupted by Democrats because EP, for example, we'll just use that, was a Democratic donor. We're talking about 10 years worth of intelligence. We have the Durham probe that was very important, even though it didn't lead to major indictments. It was very important for future indictments of top powerful individuals, specifically Democrats, who set up and framed Trump. The conspiracy theories, those were all pushed and fostered by Democratic politicians. Those were all fostered and pushed, and the narrative, which was complete nonsense, phony, fake, fabricated nonsense about collusion with the Kremlin, that was completely false, and people believe that. They believe outright lies because they were told for 10 years that these things took place. And now we're finding out people committed crimes in deceiving the American public. 18 U.S. Code 371 is the statute. People committed crimes.
Yeah. Really incredible.
The director went on to tell Maria there is more intelligence to be declassified, and soon.
The underlying intelligence that I have spent the last few months making recommendations about final declassification and sent that to the Department of Justice that will come out in the John Durham report classified annex. And what that intelligence shows, Maria, is that part of this was a Hillary Clinton plan, but part of it was an FBI plan to be an accelerant to that fake Steele dossier, to those fake Russia collusion claims, by pouring oil on the fire, by amplifying the lie and burying the truth of what Hillary Clinton was up to. And you're right, Maria. John Brennan testified to John Durham in August of 2020. He also testified to the House Oversight Committee in 2022. Hillary Clinton testified before John Durham under oath in 2022. James Comey testified before the Senate Committee in September 2020. All of that's within the last 5 years. And much of that testimony is, frankly, completely inconsistent with what our underlying intelligence that is about to be declassified.
Well, that's called perjury. They testified under oath. If it's not consistent, if it's lies, that's just one statute that's broken. But a lot of these people have associates that will turn on them, just like they said that people are going to turn on Trump. They're going to flip and saying, well, the opposite is true.
In the Durham Annex, what that reflects.
Ratcliffe also explaining why he believes these former officials will not be protected by the statute of limitations.
I'll leave it to Pam Bondi and our Department of Justice, Kash Patel and our FBI to investigate
Okay.
The conspiracy to do what and what charges that they're capable of bringing. But again, I don't think statute of limitations are going to impact, because in a conspiracy, Maria, the statute of limitation doesn't start to run until the last act in furtherance of that conspiracy.
So.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you have the Trump CIA chief stating that these people are going to face indictment. Ladies and gentlemen, Rome wasn't built in a day. Hit subscribe to this channel. This is huge. We'll have a live stream on this tomorrow. Thank you.